Good morning, ma'am. Ma'am, can we start? Good morning, ma'am.
Yes, good morning everyone.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Kathy, you may start, bache.
Right. Good morning, everyone. It gives me an immense pleasure to welcome you all to the webinar organized by the Women Development Cell of Meherchand Mahajan College for Women to
Praveen sir,
mark.
I request you to please stay muted for the time being. You
Just
need
one
to
second.
you need to turn off your audio.
Sure. I'll also join on another thing. I think sharing of screen is a bit problematic in this, and also sharing on joining on another.
No, you just mute your audio for the time being. In case you have problem for sharing your PPT, I'll be sharing on your behalf. Don't worry.
Sure. That's cool. Thanks.
Okay. Oh, yes, Kathy.
Again, good morning, everyone. It gives me an immense pleasure to welcome you all to the webinar organized by the Women Development Cell of Meherchand Mahajan College for Women to mark the celebration of the International Women's Day. We feel immensely delighted to share that people across the globe have joined us to mark the International Women's Day today. Dear participants, taking medicine without complete information and prescription by a medical practitioner can risk a life. Self medication can be very dangerous and fatal in some cases. We today have Praveen Kumar, who will enlighten us on this crucial issue. A very warm welcome to you all. And before starting the event officially, it would be my proud privilege to introduce our college to the audience. Meherchand Mahajan College for Women, established in 1968 by Justice Meherchand Mahajan, former Chief Justice of India, enjoys peerless reputation in the sphere of higher education for women and has remained ahead of its time with its innovative programs. The institution has been re-accredited with grade A by NAC and is amongst the topmost colleges in the region as surveyed by India Today, The Week, and The Tribune. The college has received the singular national honor of being the cleanest residential college in the country in the National Swachh Campus Rankings 2018 by the Ministry of Human Resource Development (MHRD). Government of India has also secured Government of India and MCM has also secured All India third rank in Best Citizen-led Initiatives in the Swachh Sarvekshan by the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. The Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, Government of India, selected our college as a training center for the Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana. The college is committed to pioneering research across disciplines. The principal of the college, Dr. Nisha Bhargav, leads by example. Not only is she a committed academician, researcher, and research supervisor with impressive publications, but also a reviewer of an Elsevier journal, Energy and Buildings, a member of Punjab University Senate, member of State Legal Services Authority, and NAC assessor. Now I would like to invite our principal, Ma'am Dr. Nisha Bhargav, to deliver the welcome address. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Khyati. Thank you. Dr. Praveen Kumar, our resource person for today. Dr. Vandana Syal, convener, Women Development Cell. Dr. Vandita Kapoor, Dr. Meenakshi Rana, and dear participants, I welcome you all on today's lecture. We all take medicines from a chemist for minor ailments such as cough, cold, allergies, pain, fever, acidity, and the like. Purchase of specific medicines over the counter is legally recognized in most of the countries. Over the counter or OTC medicines means drugs which are legally allowed to be sold by practitioners without need for a prescription. On the other hand, there are ethical drugs which can be sold only by a doctor's prescription. Also, there are generic drugs that contain a chemical substance with a patent, but these are allowed to be sold after the original patents expire. We all feel that there is a lack of knowledge and awareness among masses about medicines. Over-the-counter drugs allow faster and cheaper access to healthcare, but their misuse and adverse health effects cause serious concerns. There is a prevalence of self-medication among people in India, especially women. We all feel that there is a need to raise awareness among masses about the medicines. So it is of utmost importance to educate them and train them for safe use of drugs. Today I am very glad to share that we have an expert, Dr. Praveen Kumar, lead clinical scientist, inference, with us to enlighten our audience on this important topic. And I am sure that his talk will definitely benefit us. I express my deep gratitude to the resource person who has spared his valuable time for us. Thank you, Dr. Praveen Kumar. And I also express my gratitude to the Women Development Cell led by Dr. Vandana Sial. The cell is organizing a number of activities on International Women's Day, and I really appreciate this great effort. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am, for your blessings and presence. We all feel motivated in your presence. Thank you so much for being there. Now, I would like to request all the participants to kindly turn on your cameras so that we can capture this beautiful moment together. Please turn on your cameras. Vanna ma'am, you are not visible, so please come in a lighter side. The light is not there. Your video is dark. Vanna ma'am, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Ma'am, please change the mode. You need to change the look. Yeah, it's visible now. Yes. Just give me a moment. I'm just taking pictures. Thank you so much. We can see the women power here, and we are hoping that we are going to enlighten on a very crucial topic today. Thank you so much. Thank you, ma'am. We have taken the good
Thank
picture.
you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Principal Ma'am.
Thank you
Over
so
to
much,
you,
Meenakshi
Kathy.
ma'am. Yeah, thank you so much, Meenakshi ma'am. Thank you so much, Dr. Nisha Bhargav. Thank you so much, our principal, for giving such a wonderful addressal to our resource person. Now, I would like to add on to what our principal ma'am has said about giving an introduction to Dr. Praveen. He is the lead clinical scientist at Inference who has served in PGI for the last 6 years and has contributed his scholarly inputs in the form of a number of research papers, having 499 citations to his name and covering various fields of medical researches. Sir has also got to his credit vast knowledge and empirical application in the field of gastroenterology. It is our proud privilege to have you amidst us today, and on behalf of our principal, Dr. Nisha Bhargav, and convener of Female Development Cell, Dr. Vandana Sial, I once again extend a warm welcome to you, sir. Over to you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you all, Meher Chand College of Women, for giving this opportunity for me to speak. I'm very humbled. Thank you, Dr. Nisha ma'am, Dr. Vandana ma'am, and Meenakshi ma'am. Every one of you over here who are welcome with the warm hands. Actually, I'll move on to the topic. Okay, I'll just share the PPT's link. If any one of you will be able to project it, it will be cool. I think there are some restrictions in myself projecting it. Cool. I'll share it in the on the slide on the chat actually. Meenakshi ma'am, can you please project it? Hello, ma'am. Hello.
Yes, sir, I'll present it. Just give me a moment.
Yes, yes, sure. Thanks. You are able to open it, right? Sure. Welcome one and all for this webinar, educational webinar, health education webinar on the usage of OTC in adults with a special reference to women. First of all, I wish all of you a upcoming happy International Women's Day. Myself, Dr. Praveen, I'll tell about the OTC not only in a negative aspect, but in a positive aspect. Like how can we really use OTC for the benefit with a special focus on problems which are pertaining to women, with a touch upon on also the problems which may be common across adults, which involve both men and women, majority focus on women. I would also say about what characterizes a OTC, and then what are the lastly about the sad part of it, that is what is about the self-medication abuse and other things. It would be very much interesting to know about the informations in the following slides. Now with this, can you move to the next slide, ma'am? Yes. So first of all, what is known as the over-the-counter drugs? See, as Dr. Nisha rightly pointed out, these include the drugs which a general public can take without seeking a treatment by healthcare professional. Now, this involves a doctor generally writes a prescription, right? After that, you take the prescription, go to the pharmacy, get the drugs, and you take it, right? Now, it is also possible that you don't even have to go to the pharmacy. You don't even have to go to the doctor. You can directly go to the pharmacy and get it, right? Over there, the pharmacist actually gives it. Now, within that itself, different countries have different regulations. Now, if you consider some of the country, they will say within this, they categorize into 3 groups. One is you get without the prescription from the pharmacy, but a pharmacist had to kind of guide you in giving it. That is one type. Second is you enter into the pharmacy. There is some pharmacist present over there, but even a non-pharmacist can actually give you a drug. That is second type of OTC. Third is you don't even have to go to the pharmacy. You can just get it at a general level. Let's say in a portal or general place in Amazon or like whatever is online agency, you will be able to get even without going to a pharmacy. So there are different types of OTC. Now you would be very much surprised that all of these actually constitute the OTC. And one surprisable thing, when I actually go to the next slide, you'll be knowing in India as of today there is no proper regulation of OTC. That is one of the misnomer over here. All of us are actually aware of self-medication. All of us are about at least the term OTC, but still there is no regulation as of. In Indian regulation, there is no legal binding of OTC. Rather, what is that whatever drug which are actually not coming into the concept of prescription are actually coming into the non-prescription drug. Indirectly, those non-prescription drugs are what we refer to as OTC. But this is not long so enough. Ma'am, can you move to the next slide, please? Yes, so this is what I said. Like though there are legal definition of OTC in different parts of the world, like US, UK, Australia, and Japan, we don't have any of such things in India. Can you move to the next slide, ma'am? Yes. Now this is an article very recent. As of today, we have 4th March 2022. An article which is published in the Economic Times of India on Jan 20th, 2022. So if you actually see this, India will allow the sale of certain drugs without the recommended prescription as a part of new over-the-counter policy of drugs. okay, which is developed by the Drug Technical Advisory Board, which is the DTAP, which actually comes, which is actually one of the part working along with the CDSCO, right? Now, this actually is currently drafting the guidelines for OTC. But this, I would say, as of now, this is a very good time to actually have this webinar. Why? Because this OTC is going to come more legally, more formulated wise. And if you are also able to see the second paragraph, DTAB has been able to upload the list of OTC, which will include different things. Now, in my particular webinar, you will be able to know the different things, especially pertaining to women, how is to be used. I will also tell about something about the usage as well, how it is to be used, what are the precautions to be used, and I will also tell you a general guidelines on how you yourself can actually decide on, okay, now government has given this the OTC, now what will I decide, how will I be enlightened myself. I'll be giving a general framework of all of this. So with that in the background, though my topic was specifically written, it is in India, right? I would rather also give it throughout the kind of OTC from the US as well, like, because anyway, so many of those will also be accessible from India, and also that it is also going to come fast inside it. So whatever are actually, whatever has been like properly sanctioned the term OTC by the US FDA, I would also honoring it during my speech. Can you go to the next slide, ma'am? Yes. Now, before we go inside into the details, now what is the about how common is the OTC? OTC, if you see, has been shown in multiple studies to be more common among women as compared to men. This is a very common thing. Now, how common is the self-medication? Right, Spanish population, the entire Spanish population questionnaire. It's a large study at a country level has shown 79% of the people actually are taking OTC. I was also able to get a meta-analysis, which is one of a high quality research, which will involve concatenation of multiple studies, able to come up with a value of 53% prevalence of self-medication in India. So you will be knowing, out of 100% of the population, almost 50% of the population on average are actually self-medicating, and this may vary with a 95% confidence interval of 37 to 70%. Now, what are the things which actually favoring it? The more familiar a person is going to know with the medication. Let's say you would have always heard, right? Okay, take Dolo. Okay, let's say take doses for fever. Now, because we have knowledge of it, we are actually taking it. The more the knowledge you will be actually able to get, that will also make sure that you actually adopt more towards the self-medication. Next is middle or lower class family. That is also one of the predictors of actually taking more amount of self-medication. Just to give some more stats, acetaminophen is one of the most commonest OTC. It is used for fever, pain, other stuff. OTC usage, contrary to the understanding, actually decreases with age. It is more common in the lower ages. And as the ages actually increases, it actually decreases. These are consistent finding across multiple studies. That's why I put over here. Next is some of the common OTC categories: analgesic, vitamin D supplements, laxative, antacids are some of the common category. If you see this category, right, these are not very specific for women, right? There are some specific category which are for women as well. I'll be elaborating more on that with a touch upon of analgesic, laxative, and antacids also I'll be touching. But I'll be elaborating more among women. That it will be coming like, let's say, overactive bladder. The woman is having a problem of a thing, or like let's say a partner has actually had unprotected sexual intercourse, and after which they want to have a quick, they are not willing to proceed forward the pregnancy. They want to quickly avoid it. All these are actually OTC, which are more specific and specific against for women. I'll be elaborating on those things. Can you move to the next slide, ma'am? So, okay. So now, first of all, why do you even need a OTC? Why at all OTC is required? If you see many of the doctors, right, you'll be saying, yeah, there should be nothing allowed that OTC, right? Only the paracetamol or something only should be allowed as OTC. But that is not the cause. That should not be the state actually. Why? Because a human should be allowed to self-treat his own condition if there is going to be a specific problem, because that will make sure that he is not actually he's not like, see, he is having a particular problem and he would be able to, let's say, self-treat it. It is best that he actually treats himself, because it's a very minor ailment. It's not a major ailment. See the difference between a particular problem which can be self-treated with OTC as against a problem which cannot be said to be OTC is that the OTC problems are minor ailments, and also if you see that is a minor ailment, and also the drug which are actually used as a part of its treatment have a very good benefit risk ratio. So what do you mean by benefit risk ratio? Benefit means what is the benefit it gives in offering it. Yes, it offers some benefit over and above placebo. What does it word placebo means? Placebo means, let's say when a person is not taking a drug, if something occurs on its own, okay, that means it's let's say if it is they're just taking a sugar pill and if he still feels all right, that's a placebo, right? But let's say if anything is able to give a benefit which is over and above the placebo, at the same time it is extremely safe. What does the word safe means? Risk means, let's say you wrongly take it, or you take 2 doses of it and then take 3 doses of it. Now let's say he lands up in a severe problem, he lands up in hospitalization. It's a very risky condition. It's not a good benefit risk ratio drug, right? So in those cases, those drugs will not be approved as OTC. So it has a good benefit risk ratio, low potential of misuse and abuse. This is a very interesting thing actually. Why? Because let's say, see, OTC, what are drugs actually? Drugs are small, many of the drugs are small molecules, what you're eating, right? That is, they are all chemistry compounds, organic chemistry compounds made up of carbon, hydrogen as a backbone, and a lot of heteroatoms around it, right? Now, let's say if some of these actually gives a kind of a simulation, let's say, now a person will be keep on taking it, right? Because he can easily get it from the pharmacy, online, and other stuff. Now, it will not be easy. So it should not have abuse potential. Third is, there should be some awareness about the customer, about its usage. It should not be so difficult to use or something which it is very difficult for the consumer to comprehend. Otherwise, if he wrongly misuse it, causes extreme risk. All these are not permissible, right? Now, labeling and other things, the pharmaceutical companies should make sure have actually properly done. All these actually constitutes that a drug, yes, this particular problem is a minor ailment, and the drug which is actually used for it is actually usable drug. There are also some advanced concepts. Whatever drug you are actually currently having, let's say for a treatment of a particular disease now, can in turn in the future convert into OTC drug. So WHO has given a guidelines that for converting a drug from a normal prescription into the OTC, it should have at least been 5 years in the prescription with a big volume so that its entire side effect profile is characterized. Now this 5 years is again varying between countries to country. India as such doesn't have any particular regulation, but we are hoping that the current policy which will be coming from the lawmakers will be containing all these stuff. Can you go to the next slide, Kathy? Next slide, please. Hello.
Kathy, sir is asking for next slide.
Next slide.
I think she is doing.
My internet connection is a bit haywire right now.
Okay, no worries, no worries.
Okay, no problem. Benefits of using a OTC. Couple of things Dr. Nisha ma'am also said, right? Efficacy in treating a disease, I've already explained, better than a placebo, right? Next is it avoids unnecessary visit to a healthcare professional for conditions which a woman can herself self-manage, right? Why? Let's say she has got the knowledge of managing her and the drug is safe. Why? Let her herself manage, right? Why should she come to doctor for everything? So that's what I was focusing. I will not be only putting OTC on a black light, but rather I'll be highlighting majority OTC in a good light and then tell about some touch points of what and all is actually there. General or fewer lesser adverse events, favorable route of administration, oral as a subcutaneous, reduced abuse potential. Again, I have said. Next is decreasing the problem by making more people use the drug. This is an absolutely beautiful condition actually. Now, let's say if a particular condition for actually getting a drug of it, let's say he has to go to the healthcare professional every time. There is a possibility that there may be some lackadaisical attitude in him, which may not, so that he may not go to the doctor. So in that case, the problem in the society will be keep on going. One of the examples I put is, let's say, unintended pregnancy, if it keeps on increasing. But let's say easier access to a single pill will actually make sure these kind of problem doesn't actually occur in an enormous proportion. Will actually get down. So that's one of the things. Can you go to the next slide, please, Kathy? Okay, women and OTC. Now, if you see, now let's go to the woman specific thing. Women, I already said, out of men and women, who most commonly uses OTC is actually women across multiple studies. Now, if you see, women are generally responsible for the health of the family. We all know our mother took care of us, right? Very nicely. So, women indirectly are known to actually consume more amount of OTC. So if her knowledge of OTC actually increasing a lot, it will be indirectly a boom that the entire family may actually be benefited by her knowledge. In that way, it will be like every one of them may actually be benefited, entire family. And there is also one more point, though I would definitely say women should not be shy of all these things, but let's say women sometimes get a bit shy about something discussing to doctors. Let's say unprotected sex, or like vaginal discharge, vaginal itching, or bladder overactivity, or bladder leakage. These are some of the points in which she may feel a bit of hesitating. And these are also, as I earlier stated, these are all minor ailments, right? So in these kind of minor ailments can be handled by on her own, it will be much comfortable. Can you go to the next slide, please? Yes. Now I just said one of the examples, right? So this is actually Amazon.in, but actually .com ka hai, was not able to exactly find the similar kind of drug in India, but this is a very good example of what we are actually saying. Now, if you say oxybutynine, it's organic chemistry